Hello, I'm Spencer Davis, and this is my ECS 210 blog. I was originally going to write a song, but it proved to be too hard for me to add words like curriculum and treaty education into it, so I'm just going to make this video instead. So when I first heard about ECS 210 and how it was about curriculum and the history of curriculum, I thought it was going to be really boring and dry, but fortunately for me, through our group discussions in our class and the lectures, that wasn't the case. So one of the first things that stuck out to me was a quote from Will Richardson where he said, "We as educators need to reconsider our roles in students' lives, to think of ourselves as connectors first and as content experts second." Now, one of the reasons that this quote really stuck out to me was because part of my philosophy is I want to connect with my future students and I want to be a role model in their lives and I want to be one of the people that they can come to. So this quote just kind of solidified that. And secondly, I guess another thing that I got from this class was that we as teachers are allowed to challenge curriculum, and that's something that I never really thought of before. I just kind of assumed that curriculum was a document that was given to you and you had to follow it and you couldn't challenge it. So that doing the curriculum critique really helped me with that. Another area that really stood out to me this semester was the importance of treaty education in all subject areas. So as a future physical education and health teacher, I started finding ways that I could bring treaty education into my lesson plans. So some ways that I figured out I could do this in phys ed included playing some traditional sports such as tchoukball and lacrosse and then explaining the history and the significance that they had to the indigenous people. I could bring in dances and such as a powwow and have elders talk about them. And then lastly, I could play games that showed how if one group or one team isn't treated fair, how they may not have the same success and oftentimes won't have the same success as the team that has the fair rules. As a health teacher, when I'm speaking about mental health, it would be an excellent time to bring up treaty education and residence schools. I could talk to my students about the harmful effects that residence schools have had on Indigenous families and explain why it is important to honor the treaties. Finally, the last way that ECS 210 was beneficial for me was it really made me open my eyes and try to look at the world from another view. So I grew up in a very small town and I was quite sheltered as a kid. So coming into ECS 210, I didn't really think about some of the topics, especially as a health teacher, that I'm going to have to talk about. And this class really opened my eyes on trying to include everybody when I talk. So one of these things that really made me think was as a phys ed teacher, I usually go, all right guys, or all right boys and girls. And in today's society, I realized that that kind of language is not inclusive to everybody. So that's one area that I'm definitely going to have to change once I'm a teacher. Another area that I'm going to have to look at will be what I can and cannot talk about in health and especially sex education. So when we talked about that in class, it really opened my eyes to what I'm going to have to prepare for as a future teacher. Overall, I really enjoyed ECS 210. It was a great learning experience. I feel like I've grown a lot as a person. I just want to thank all the teachers and the profs and thank my classmates for having great discussions. Thank you.